Coming up today on Western Sports Roundup, we'll kind of update you on some of the new team roping teams for this 2026 season. Some of them started back early in the season that way. Some of them kind of shuffled around after the Texas Swing Rodeos. No matter what, we'll give you some of those updates of what they've been doing here lately.
And we might as well start calling Cowtown Coliseum Rylee George's house because of all the success that she's had. National Finals of Breakaway Roping in the average. And she also just put $62,000 to her name on a new horse. She's going to join us to talk all about this season and how great it's getting started.
PBR over the weekend crowned not only a PBR World Champion bull rider, but they also crowned a World Champion bull. It just happened to be the same bull that won Bull of the Finals event as well. The owners of that bull will join us on Western Sports Roundup. All that and more coming your way right now on Cowboy Channel.
A chance for Ransom to move to number one. Both of the best bulls in the world.
Well, hey, rodeo fans. My name is Elise Sutherland, alongside my good friend Ty McClary for another great day here on Western Sports Roundup with plenty of news, plenty of exciting things to talk about, and some special stories, too.
Yeah, we definitely do. And, of course, it's Wednesday, so we like to kick it off with our Kubota top story of the day, brought to you by our friends at Kubota. Together, we do more. Elise, it is the week of the American Rodeo. That's the home. Globe Life Field, the American kicks off Friday. Of course, it's Friday night and Saturday afternoon. There are so many stories within this. I feel like we could spend a whole entire show of it, but just to name a few, I mean, what about the eligibilities for the $2 million earners? Folks like Kelsey Domer in the breakaway roping. How about the story of 26-time world champion Trevor Brazile and his son Tristan qualifying through the regional in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago? Those guys are also running at $2 million. This is going to be a fun weekend.
Those are some great ones, too, and I'm personally am excited about the bareback riding. Leighton Berry and Cade Berry, the brothers, at it for the $2 million. Championship weekend is coming at you in just a few days, May 22nd and 23rd. You can check out Teton Ridge for the broadcast schedule and all ways that you can watch this historic event, but it's going to be one of those that is going to put so many names in history books and continue just getting better.
We've been telling you all about it here over the last couple of months or so. The reason for the $2 million, they did not have a $1 million earner a year ago, so that money rolled over to this year. All the qualifiers through the regional events that took place in Lexington, Kentucky, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and Las Vegas are all eligible for that $2 million. The invitees from the top 5 in the world standings last year, they're not eligible for the $2 million, but they're still eligible for that $100,000 to win their prospective event. So in all rights, when you think about it, if somebody could win the $2 million, they're actually going to win $2.1 million for winning their event plus the $2 million. My goodness, that's going to be fun.
It's going to be plenty of fun. There's going to be a lot of dogs in the fight across all of the events. I couldn't even just pick one if we were going to be able to talk about anything. But speaking of big events and a lot of things happening in the sport of rodeo, let's transition a little bit to the team roping because we've seen some new partnerships that are really starting to link up and put some great runs and a lot of money together.
We're going to just go through a couple of teams with you. Obviously, it's not every team in the sport of pro rodeo, but some of these teams started back early in the season as new partners. Some of them started after the Texas Swing, some of the shakeups there after the Texas Swing, and they started roping together basically this month of May, maybe towards the end of April. A new team for this entire season, though, has been these guys. How about the veterans, Coleman Proctor and Travis Graves? And the interesting part for me on these guys, Elise, I said this a couple of days ago, maybe last week here on Western Sports Roundup. There's a video of them from just winning Guyman, Oklahoma. They just won the rodeo at Redding, California last weekend, and prior to, I would say, about a month ago, these guys weren't even ranked in the top 50 in the world. And now, because of all the winning they've done here over the last month, Coleman is number 20 in the world standings, Travis number 22.
They just keep winning. Their childhood friends from Oklahoma and are continuing to do great things. But also, I want to draw your attention to the black mare that you saw with Coleman Proctor. That is a new mare in the rig and the first time he's actually taken one down the road. But let's move on to Junior D's and Landon. Glenn, we've got a two-time NFR qualifier and BFI champion right there. Number 12 in the heading and number 13 to the heels. Now, to see Junior D's, it's been a while since we've seen him at the top of the leaderboards. But like I said when we started this, when you really see a team get together and link up, it's like fire.
That is video from Red Bluff, California, back there in mid-April, where they won the championship in Red Bluff. And of course, just prior to that, the week before, they had got some money in Logandale, Nevada. So that has now put those guys you see there, Junior D's number 12 in the world, Landon Glenn on the heeling side, one spot back from McAllister, Oklahoma at number 13 in the world. Now, Brenton Hall, Wyatt Cox, we're kind of making our way up the standings, if you want to say. We're getting a little richer here. Brenton Hall's number 13 on the heading side. Wyatt Cox, number 8 on the heeling side. Now, Brenton has been to 3 NFRs. Wyatt has not been to the National Finals Rodeo yet. We've watched him be close. In fact, he's been 17th and 18th on a couple of different occasions. They just got him some money in Vernon, Texas just last week. Of course, money at Corpus Christi, that's the video you're watching, but that's a new team for this season.
When it comes to see some of these Texas rodeos, Wyatt Cox has really been the man with the plan that has been able to take some of these team ropers to such success down here, and I'm excited to see what he's able to get done all across the country. Let's talk about some, I want to call them young guns, but they are not rookies by any means, and they are proving that the bloodlines are thick in team roping. Tyler Tryon and Nikki Northcott, both sons of BFI champions. Tyler just won his own. They won the junior BFI earlier on this year. This is going to be a fun one to see all year long.
And I agree with you. You can still call them young guys. You can still call them rookies, because it was just 2 years ago that Tyler won that Resist All Rookie of the Year title. It was just last year that Nikki Northcott won it on the heeling side as the Resist All Rookie of the Year. And oh, by the way, Nikki, he was right there in that spot last year that no one likes, that number 16 in the world. He darn near qualified for his first NFR. But here's the deal. That is a fun team to watch. Bry Kreitz and Ross Ashford, they're both National Finals Rodeo contestants. In fact, Bry, number 6 in the world, Ross, number 5 in the world. Bry went to the finals back in 2022. The year before that, Ross Ashford went to his first NFR back in 2021. Rodeo Corpus Christi was really good to these guys. And of course, back earlier in the season, you're looking at video from Tucson out at the La Fiesta de los Vaqueros. So these guys have been winning lots of money all season long. That's the reason they're right there around the top 5 in the world.
Picking up a lot of momentum with 14,001 a man there at Rodeo Corpus Christi. Here's a look at several others that we might not have had a chance to show you. Clay Smith and Colby Payne are on this list as well. Tanner Tomlinson and Wesley Thorpe, James Arviso and Levi Lord. Lightning Aguilera and Caden Profili. This is a team I really like to watch, because we always see Lightning take those lightning strike shots that he has, and Caden Profili just always seems to be there.
Yeah, both of those guys have been to 2 regular National Finals rodeos for them. We'll see if they can get back together as a team this season. We'll just have to wait till the end of September to find out exactly how all that team roping shakes up. But as it continues through the summer, we will continue to update you as well here on Western Sports Roundup. When we come back, we're going to talk to a lady that she must like the town of Fort Worth. That's all I'm going to say about it. We're going to talk to the PWR champion in the breakaway roping when we return.
And later on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to talk about some bull power from the PBR. Let's talk about a world champion bucking bull, as well as the bull of the event. We've got some people that are very special in this bull's life that have known him since he was just a calf. Stay with us. You're watching Western Sports Roundup.
Western Sports Roundup is brought to you by Resist All, the official hat of the PRCA, and Cowboys everywhere.
Denim. Live boldly. Live in rock and roll denim.
Gotta be 2 in 41 or faster. Can she do it? She's got the talent. She's got the ability. Right, she can do it.
That was just last week at the Premier Women's Rodeo Championship right here in Fort Worth, where Rylee George walked away as the champion. She's pretty good in that arena. Well, I should say this. She's pretty good everywhere she competes and nods her head. But yeah, another championship under her belt last week with the Premier Women's Rodeo Championship. Rylee George joins us right now on Western Sports Roundup. Rylee, I got to know about that final calf. We just saw video of it. When he left the chute, he was getting over there to the right. That's good when you're kind of expecting it, but tell me what your thoughts were, because that sucker was moving to the right pretty hard.
Yeah, going into that last round, that calf didn't have a very good track record. Nobody had really done very good on him. He takes that hard cut right, and if you're not in the barrier right there, it's a hard throw. And so I would just try to go into the game plan to hit the barrier good and take my first shot at him.
You had a lot of success through all of the rounds, though, but you kind of said you just had to make it through each round. And then by the last two, everyone has it figured out. But what was the game plan for each of these, knowing you just had to keep being consistent?
Yeah, I was in the average the whole time. So after I got the first one down, the next two I just tried to get those caught, just because girls kept falling out of the average. So I knew if I could catch the next two that I would be able to make it to the final round.
I want to know what Jackie Crawford said to you right there when you rode out to get your rope, because she was in the lead until you made that run. So I know she was kind of messing with you right there, but what was going on? What was she telling you?
She said she was tired of losing to me that week.
Oh, that's great stuff. I love it. Okay, so with that being said, I kind of started this off by saying you seem to do good inside the stockyards in Northside of Cowtown Coliseum. What do you think it is? I mean, obviously you had a great national finals of breakaway roping last December there where you won the average. Now you come back a few months later and win the Premier Rodeo Women's Championship. I mean, what is it about that arena? Is it something, or you think you just had some luck those couple times?
You know, I don't think I've ever won any money at the weekend stockyards rodeos that they have there every weekend. And going into the finals there, that was kind of in the back of my head. But I really, in that arena, you can't back off the barrier. You have to be in the barrier every time, just because the arena is so short. You'll run out of arena so fast. So I think just in that arena, if you can hit the barrier every time, it makes your shot easy, whether your calf's good or whether he runs.
You know, your ability to read this arena and the barrier there truly speaks volumes, but something I'm noticing is there's a little switch up in horsepower. You just bought Copper back in mid-January from Ricky Fanning. What is it about this horse that truly fits your style so well that you can go in and have all the success yet again?
I watched Ricky rodeo on him for a couple of years now, and I've been bugging her to sell him to me, and she finally would this year, and so I finally got him. But I really like how good he scores and how good he stands in the box. And then also he's one that he wants to be on your team. He doesn't ever want to take your throw away. He's gonna keep running to the calf till you pull him off of him.
Rylee, I want you to touch on that a little bit more. A couple of those steps that you just said, because in a breakaway rope and run, you girls are doing this so fast. I mean, 1-7, 1-8, 2 flat, 2-2, 2-5. I mean, it's so quick. No matter really the setup, unless it's like a Cheyenne or something like that. But where I'm headed with this is the score is so important, and you just talked about that, especially inside that Cowtown Coliseum at Northside. But then that horse that you're riding now, not taking your throwaway, there's so many of those steps that you girls do in that short amount of time that's so important to make a great breakaway run.
The breakaway roping is so hard because there's no room for error. You have to hit the barrier and you have to take your first shot at the calf. An extra swing takes you out of the roping pretty much in our game. So to be able to have a horse that you just have to worry about yourself and go rope, it makes a world of difference. And out there during the summertime when you're not able to go practice, you definitely want one that's on your team that isn't going to try and short you or just kind of wants to stay good and honest out there, so it makes your job easy.
What is it that you are working on yourself? If you can't be in the practice pen like you talked about during the summer where you don't get to practice, these shots are ones that you know you're capable of making as long as your teammate is with you. So what are some of the things that you're doing to make sure that you're on your best game every time you nod your head?
Really, while I'm out there, you just try to stay mentally strong and just know and go back to the basics and just know that you're out there for a reason and that you know how to do it. And even though you're not going to be able to practice every day, you've practiced every day your whole life. So now you finally get out there and just get to go make rodeo runs like you've been practicing at home during the wintertime.
Rylee, I want you to touch on the entire week of the Premier Women's Rodeo Championship because outside of the fact that you won the event, which I know you're really excited about that, but How about the rest of the week? I mean, basically every day is a go-around. In fact, it started for you. I saw you down in Hamilton, Texas the week before. You were trying to qualify in the team roping down there, so you were part of that last chance qualifier, and then made your way, of course, in the breakaway roping there. But they kick it all off on Monday night with y'all's gala where they hand you girls your back numbers. I mean, they try to put on a good show for you girls. What's it like in your boots?
Yeah, what they put on and to be able to run for that kind of money is unbelievable, really. And it makes it nice to have that coming into the summertime. And that week was crazy busy. I mean, we went to Hamilton, and then Hamilton got crazy weather over there, so they had to move it to Decatur the next day. And then even the next day we went to the Carbon Classic, so I wasn't able to make the back number ceremony. But there was just so much money to run out this week for breakaway ropers, and it's really unbelievable.
You've really had to keep your cool through all of this, especially with all of that weather, like you said, but 2.5 times the money that you made at the National Finals of Breakaway Roping, and you were the high money earner there, is what you took home last week, $62,000. How does that sit on your mind, knowing that every time you nod your head for a 1-9, you are getting to cash in on that big payday?
Really, I've never had a win that big and at one spot where you could get that much money, so that was... I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I definitely wanted to make sure and not take myself out of it and make sure I wasn't going to leave the arena. Thought I could have took a different shot at that calf. So I knew it was going to cut right, and I knew that was going to be the best shot right there rather than to take an extra one. And so that was just my game plan, whether what was going on in the roping was just to take that shot right there.
Rylee, I love the fact that you girls are getting a rope for big money. I don't care where it is, just the fact that y'all are getting a breakaway rope at lots of big stages. And of course, the Premier Women's Rodeo Championship's a big part of that. Speaking of some of those big stages, in the rodeo arena, you're having a pretty darn good year as well. You're way up there, well inside the top 5 of the world standings. In fact, knocking on the door of getting close to Haley Williams there. Of course, she's got the lead after winning Rodeo Houston back earlier this year. But tell me a little bit about your season, because it looks like to me you've just kind of fed off the National Finals of Breakaway Roping when they were there in December, and you've just kept that ball rolling all through this winter run, on into the spring run in California, which is your home state, and now here we are headed to the summer.
The winter rodeos were really good to me this year. They were really good calves this year, and I felt like I was roping good on copper, and I believe my first rodeo on him was San Antonio, and just from there, he's been so easy for me. And to go into the summertime with him, I'm really excited for it, and hopefully we got a lot of rodeo left, but I hope to keep the ball rolling and throughout the whole summertime till we get back.
You know, even before we get into the summer specifically, we've got another big indoor rodeo just around the corner in Arlington. We've got the American. You've got your invitation back there. How are we feeling? What's the game plan? And who can we hope to see you riding?
I'll be riding copper at the American. My game plan pretty much stays the same. Just try and be as aggressive as I can and not back off the barrier and take the first shot that I get on my calf I draw.
Rylee, I hope that not only the American goes well for you, I hope the rest of the year goes well. It sure started off good, and congratulations on not only what you've done in the world of professional rodeo in the WPRA, but what you just did at the Premier Women's Rodeo Championship last week and getting that huge win, as Elise just told our fans, over $62,000 that you won last week. Congratulations on that. Thanks for joining us here on Western Sports Roundup, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
That is Rylee George, your champ, Premier Women's Rodeo Championship just last week. Stay with us. We have got an interesting story to tell you about that bull right there. He was the Bull of the Year in the PBR. That is Ransom. We'll talk to somebody that knows a lot about Ransom when we return.
This is one of the biggest moments in PBR history right here. .37.35 on the bull score.
So that means Ransom's our world champion.
Huge.
You just announced it to the world. He needed 47.3. Ransom has done it.
Just enough, and that was one of the best outs we've seen all year from a bull.
That was video of just this past Sunday at the PBR World Finals, where the bull Ransom was crowned not only PBR Bull of the Finals, but also Bull of the Year. Of course, he is owned by Flinn Cattle Company and the Pages, HD and Dylan Page. And joining us right now on the show, this is so fun to get to visit with Eldon Flinn, who owns this bull. He makes his home right up there close to Fitztown, Oklahoma. Eldon, welcome to the show. And Eldon, I want to start this off by asking you, when you were standing there at the PBR World Finals this past Sunday, you watched that out with Brady Fielder, but because of the rough start in the buck and shoot, they awarded you a reride on that bull, but you guys decided to keep your score. But tell me what was going through your mind as you watched Ransom buck for the last time for this past season.
Boy, I tell you what, I was happy for a while and sad for a while and didn't know how it was going to come out.
What was it that made you sad? Was that more nerves when you were waiting to see what would happen, or was it getting to realize the season was coming to a close?
Well, yeah, the most of it was that, you know, we were there to win that, and we had it in our hand once, and then it got away from us, and then we got it back.
All right, Eldon, I got to back up a couple of go-rounds. A little earlier in the week, Eduardo Aparecido rode that bull for just a little more than 96 points. In fact, a 96.10. Tell me what you were thinking when you were watching that ride. One of the greatest bull rides in PBR history. In fact, I think they labeled it as one of the top 3 highest scores ever in PBR history at the finals. Tell me about that one when you witnessed that ride.
That was a fun one to watch as far as when you own the bull. But he did a tremendous job, and he's been consistent pretty much all year. But that's worth watching right there.
You know, he's had a lot of success since basically the day he was born. A lot of bulls, and kind of like horses alike, you can tell when they are special. What was it about him early on that you knew he just had it?
Well, you know, we buck these calves and go through them and see what they look like. And Eli kept telling me, he said, this is going to be a special calf. And so we stayed with him, and sure enough, he's pretty special.
Eldon, you speak of Eli. That is your son who not only hauls these bulls, flanks them, he's in charge of all of them. But I want you to back up a little bit longer because, as Elise just stated, this calf has been pretty special since day one. But talk about from the very start. I mean, he was an embryo transfer calf. He's by the great bull Showtime, who is now side 3 PBR World Champion bulls. But talk about all those steps, the process from the breeding, getting the calves on the ground, bucking them as young calves. There is a lot of steps that gets to a 5-year-old bull that is now crowned the PBR World Champ.
That's true. There's a lot of them. You know, of course, you get the calf on the ground and grow him up, and then when you get him weaned, you go to work on him, putting him through the chute and what have you, and try him as a futurity calf. And you just work your way up and get the most out of him you can.
So speaking of a futurity calf, this bull was actually part of the ABBI's program, and at his 5-year-old year, the classic year, he was the champion of that event. Did that right there kind of start telling you guys at Flinn Cattle Company that, hey, this bull's going to be pretty special, the fact that he can win the classic year? Did you kind of expect big things of him after that?
Yes, we did, and we just kept hauling him and bucking him, and he just kept getting better and stronger, and he turned out just like we thought, Eli thought he might be.
You know, sometimes you just know the crosses that are going to really work. We've talked about Showtime, but the other half of this bull right here is the great cow that he's out of. Tell us how you guys decide to pair these bulls with these cows to get these elite athletes, because he had some siblings there as well.
Well, I'll tell you, this cow is pretty special herself, and seemed like whatever you breed her to, it bucks. And so we just kept doing the same thing and trying to get some more offspring from her. And now then she's gotten old on us, and it's not looking good now.
Well, the thing is, y'all shared with me just before we started this interview that cow actually, and of course Ransom had some half brothers, a handful of them actually, also bucking at the PBR World Finals that are out of that same cow. So what a tremendous story that is. And I think that's just amazing, the work that you guys do there at Flinn Cattle Company to put all these things together. Eldon, I want to know this. You know, your bull Ransom and the bull Pegasus were going neck and neck for a lot of the season. Now, in past years, we've seen bulls that kind of throw guys off almost every time they get on them and end up being bulls of the year. I feel like, this is me personally, but Ransom and Pegasus, yes, they buck some guys off throughout the year, but they also ride those two bulls a lot. Would you agree with me in saying these kind of a rider-friendly bull from time to time, and when they do ride him, they obviously can be a lot of points on him?
Oh, you bet. You're going to score big, and when you stay on that bull, and you know, we don't expect him to buck everybody off. We just want him to do his thing and show what he's got.
You've had so many great bulls over the years. Here's a look at the list of the final bull standings as well. Ransom, there's Pegasus right there, Fire Zone, Buck Nasty on, Red Demon, Manhater on down through the list. But I gotta know, as a breeder yourself and as guys that have taken these bulls down the road for so many years, it still has to feel really good to look at a list of great athletes like these and know that yours is number one.
Oh yeah, it's you know, it's great to just go look at him every day, and you know, and watch him buck, and know that you got some brothers out there, and you know, he's gonna have his hands full if he slacks up, because we've got one or two coming right in behind him.
That's good to know. We'll have to keep watch. What's he like at home? You said you like to go and look at him. Does he have a nice demeanor? Can you feed him? Is he just one of those animals you just like to look at and be around? What's he like?
Well, yeah, you better look at him while you're on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, we understand what that means. Yeah, I get that part, Eldon. Okay, so I want to know this, Eldon. This isn't anything new for you guys to have top bucking bulls in your program. Back a handful of years ago, you were part owners with, of course, D&H Cattle Company as well, with a great bull called Chiseled. In the professional rodeo ranks, he was Bull of the Year 2 different occasions there. So what do you think it is about y'all's program? Because Eldon, you and I both know these great bulls, they don't come around every single day. I know you've raced tons of them over the years that maybe don't make top quality, top level bucking stock. So these great ones don't come along very often, but you guys and your family and y'all's program have had quite a few good ones. What do you think that is?
Well, I think it's just a lot of hard work and studying what you do and how you do it and how you match them up and who you breed to what, and just continue to improve all you can.
Well, Eldon, your legacy is a true testament to the hard work that you have put in and the big deals and the big awards that you've had, just like this one with such a great bull like Ransom. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us and talk about this special athlete.
Happy to do it anytime.
That is Eldon Flinn with Flinn Cattle Company and their great bull, Ransom, that just won not only PBR Bull of the Year, but Bull of the Finals as well. Congratulations to them. Stay with us here on Western Sports Roundup. We have got lots more to get to. We're not done yet. We'll talk about Rodeo Killeen when we come back.
Guys, recognize that beautiful sunset right there over a great Rodeo Killeen, Texas is where we are taking you with some results over the weekend. Some big names as we welcome you back into the studio. Some big names and some big up-and-coming names that you will absolutely be recognizing as well, won't we, Ty?
It's kind of interesting, Elise, because as we've been going over some of these results over the last week or so at some of these Texas rodeos this past weekend, a lot of guys got money in both places, including a guy like Daxton Field, number 2 in that rookie race right now for the Resistol Rookie of the Year. He's inside the top 25 in the world standings. He won the Rodeo Killeen Andrews Rodeo Cash and Carry. That's a NFR bucking horse from Sammy Andrews. And like I just mentioned, he also placed at Liberty Hill, Texas last weekend also.
And that's just a big way to get things kicked off in the bareback riding. But in the big man's event, the steer wrestling, let's talk about a young man that picked up a lot of success over here. $2,500 and a 3.8 for the North Carolina native. He was also the all-around champion here for some success that he had in this next event.
Well, it's kind of interesting that you say that, because Blake hasn't really been bulldogging much this year. In fact, he hadn't bulldogged at a rodeo in the last 3 or 4 months, I think. But in the team roping, he's been doing plenty of that, because he and partner Wyatt Bray, they split the win here in Killeen. They also, like I told you at the beginning of this, placed at Liberty Hill, so they got some money there. Tyler Trine, though, and Nikki Northcott, they were also 4-9 to split the win. And like the other teams, Tyler and Nikki won Vernon, placed at Liberty Hill. So you see the theme of where we're headed. A bunch of these guys got some good money in the state of Texas last weekend.
That they have, because there was plenty of money to win, and that's exactly why they were here. Wyatt Laverne, the young gun from Louisiana, coming off a Guyman win, 88 points on Diamond G Rodeo's Lindsay's Thunder for $3,000. Wow, what a ride, and he is proving that he is ready to be on the road.
Still on his permit for this season. Hadn't even bought his official PRCA card yet. He's number 2 in that permit standings. And yeah, just like the rest of the crew that we've talked about, he gained some big money last weekend at rodeos really all across the country in the breakaway roping. You know her dad, that is Macy Ray. Her daddy, Boogie Ray, he went to the finals back, let's just say a day or two ago in the team roping. She held the lead from mid part of the week last week in Killeen. It stayed that way. 1.9, the fastest run of the rodeo. She pocketed a little over $4,700 for that quick breakaway roping run.
$4,700 is going to help pay for some wedding bills, Boogie Ray. Now let's talk about some tie-down roping. Coleman Canton and Kincaid Henry for a 7-5. But talk about Coleman Canton, really able to step up. When Kincaid Henry lights things on fire, there's no stopping him, but it's really fun to see other people get to the top of the leaderboard too.
Kincaid Henry, number 2 in the world standings. Coleman Canton, that is the young son of Ricky Canton, the NFR tie-down roper. He's just 19 years old as well, similar to Wyatt Laverne on his permit in the barrel racing. Emma Parr, she was one of our rookies last season for the 2025 year in the WPRA. In fact, she was the reserve Resistol Rookie of the Year. She got her some money at the American Royal Rodeo up in Kansas City. A couple of the California rodeos were good to her in April as well. She got the win, pocketed a little over $4,100 for those 3 fast turns around the barrels at 16 and 62.
The rookie race last year was so fun to watch, but let's talk about a champ of the world, Josh Frost, shucking peanuts from Diamond G Rodeos for $5,800. When you see greatness, I bet everybody in the stands was already on their feet by the time they watched this, because he knew it was great.
Yeah, it was it's good to see Josh Frost back. We know that he's been out with injury all of last season, got back to rodeoing at the early part of this 2026 year. And will we see Josh Frost back at the National Finals Rodeo? Yeah, I bet we will sometime soon. Not sure if it'll be this year or not, but no matter what, he got him a big win there in Killeen. There's a look at all of your champions. Congratulations to them. If you missed any of it, as always, you can check it out on our Cowboy Plus app. Well, we want to tell you about a fun event that is taking place in Bishop, California. By the way, it's a beautiful area there in the mountains of Central California. It's the 56th edition of the Bishop Mule Days. Now, the packers in that area that use mules for years up in the mountains, they actually started this event some 56 years ago. And the event, it does exactly that. It honors the versatility of mules and all that you can do on them. Our very own Steve Kenyon calls the action there, and he had a chance to catch up with Mariah Kohler, who is very, very busy. Here's more with Steve.
So Bishop, California is the home of the Mule Day celebration, and it's been like that for more than 60 years. One of the most unique Western events in the country. This young lady is Mariah Kohler, who is you live around here, and you are a great example of the versatility of mules, Mariah, because you do almost everything during the course of this week of Mule Days.
Yeah, we do everything from jumping and dressage to packing and pack scrambles and all the stuff in between.
Tell me about your history with Mule Days, because you've been around here a little bit.
Yeah, so I started in 2010. I came to my first Mule Days in 2007, and I had no idea. I'd shown horses for a long time, and I went to some of the events, and I was like, I did not know mules could do this.
Yeah.
So my goal was to then go buy myself a mule and to come and compete, and I did that. And
can I ask you a question about, as somebody, I've ridden horses my whole life, I've ridden mules here.
Right.
I'm a really terrible trainer. But training a horse and training a mule are two different things, aren't they?
Right. So my philosophy is I train a horse like I train a mule. So the mules are different. They have that donkey brain. They take a little bit more thought to get them to understand some of the things that you need. And maybe sometimes they require more time because they're more sensitive. I like to say they're emotional. Yeah. They're emotional creatures.
They are. They're emotional creatures. I think that's a good way to put it. You got a bunch of kids that you work with that you're helping out here, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've got quite the crew. We've got some first year kids doing some things with their mules, and between walk jog classes and kids doing their first year English and jumping, and then a lot of my kids will multitask like I do, and they do packing as well. So
one of the things I learned early on coming to Mule Days, and I've been here for a lot of years now, is the versatility of these animals, and I think you're a great example of that. Yeah, I mean, because you do everything. You not only show English, show Western, train kids, but you're also involved in a pack team. And the thing that you see in Mule Days that you don't see anywhere else are those big pack scrambles where they turn all the animals loose, and you got to run down and chase down your horses and chase down your mules and pack them and then ride them around a racetrack fully packed. Tell me about that experience from a contestant standpoint.
So it is, so I compete all week long. I've just finished with my English classes today. And then Friday is the weekend, and we start our packing. And I tell you what, there is nothing more exciting than running around a track, racing another team with full strings of mules, and you've got your outriders hemming and hawing, and everyone's going towards the finish line, and it's quite the experience. It's one of my favorite things to do because we just go and have fun. The expectation is to have fun.
Yep, that's it. And oh, by the way, they get very competitive while they're having fun.
Yes.
Trust me, and this is one of the more competitive pack teams we've got here at Mule Days. If you've never been here, think about coming. MuleDays.org is the website. Folks like Mariah are here all week, and we just have a large time enjoying a bunch of mules. Mariah, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Mariah Coyley joining us. We're at the Bishop Mule Days in Bishop, California.
Thanks for that update, Steve. And I'm telling you, I agree with what Steve just said. If you've never been to the Mule Days, if you don't know anything about it, please check it out. Each and every year they have it Memorial Day weekend, and it is a big, huge celebration all about mules.
Next on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to take you to my home state of Oklahoma for the 80th anniversary of the Will Rogers Stampede in Claremore. We've got two very special guests that will be joining us to tell you home to Will Rogers and home to 80 years of the Will Rogers Stampede Rodeo, a 6-time PRCA Small Rodeo of the Year that just keeps getting better. Welcome back into Western Sports Roundup, and today we have a good honor of getting to bring you two guests from the Will Rogers Stampede, live from Claremore, Oklahoma themselves, David Petty, the rodeo director, and Scott Grover, longtime rodeo announcer as well. Thanks for being here, my friends.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Now, I know from being there over the years that this is a really exciting time. We're getting ready to get things kicked off. Today has already been busy, but David, you are non-stop. But I know once you're ready for that first horse to buck, it's not even going to stop yet either. How excited are you to get kicked off celebrating 80 years at this rodeo?
Well, at least it's quite an honor to have a rodeo like this in our community for 80 years, and it's been a PRCA rodeo ever since the beginning in 1946, and a lot of heritage and a lot of great cowboys have come through Claremore, Oklahoma, and man, the things that we've done the last 15 years to get where we're at, it's awesome.
Scott, you've announced this rodeo. I believe this is going to be your 21st year there in Claremore at the Will Rogers Stampede. You announced a lot of great rodeos throughout your career and throughout the season, but what is it about Claremore that you just love coming back there? I mean, is it the history, the Will Rogers part of it? And as David just shared, I mean, lots of great cowboys and lots of history have come through that rodeo. That's got to be a pretty special honor for you as well to be holding that microphone there.
It's all of that. When I got my card, this was my first committee rodeo that I ever got hired for. And I worked with Clem McSpadden. So that was two bonuses right there, right off the bat. So I've seen, every one of my kids, this was their first rodeo they went. When Becky and I got married, this is our first rodeo we came to too. So this has just been this has been a rodeo of firsts for me, and to watch the growth that it has made since I picked up the microphone here in 2005 has just been unbelievable. So we're still celebrating the history of Clem, and you still hear Clem still prays at this rodeo. So it's an honor to just to still be a part of what happens in Rogers County and bring this award-winning rodeo back to Oklahoma.
Oh, that prayer that you just spoke of, I can listen to it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we pause in the midst of this specification. I can remember it just like it was yesterday, listening to the great Clem McSpadden. David, speaking of that, you still hold the title there, the Clem McSpadden Steer Roping. That is actually taking place tomorrow. I know that's kind of a special place in y'all's heart. Y'all definitely host that event, all in conjunction with the Will Rogers Stampede. Y'all are pretty proud of that tradition as well.
You bet. We like to call ourselves the richest single steer roping rodeo in the state, and just carrying on Clem's tradition of Bushy Head, Oklahoma, and the steer roping. Our steer ropers, they show up, and we get, I don't know, I think we've got about 67, 68 guys entered, this year. So it's always good. 3 rounds. We usually have the weather's going to be pretty good this year, so we're ready.
You guys certainly are. I like it that Scott earlier was talking about the growth that you guys have had over the years. But David, what has that looked like for you leading this community and bringing everyone together? Not only changes to the arena grounds themselves, the stands, the amenities, but also being able to bring more money and more contestants. What is it about this rodeo that you think brings everyone together just to make it this good?
I think it's just a lot of camaraderie amongst all of our ranching families, and we won that small rodeo of the year, and I've got to give a shout out to some great stock contractors. Pete Carr, we're now with Frontier, but we had to have a product, and we got that product, and when people started seeing it, and the recognition that we were getting for it, it's kind of tough market, right in Tulsa, Oklahoma, basically being a sister city of Tulsa. And so we're on the edge of rural living, but, you go another 40 miles and you're out in the country. So it's good to see all these folks come to a fantastic rodeo.
Scott, kind of feeding off a little bit of what David was just speaking of in that last answer, the fact that Claremore, Oklahoma is somewhat of a small town. Talking about the product that you guys have to offer there at the Will Rogers Stampede. As the announcer, do you do anything different at Claremore and the Will Rogers Stampede than, say, you do at a Denver, the National Western, or somewhere else that you announced throughout the season? I mean, Claremore, they know their rodeo and they appreciate it there. They're rodeo fans and they like it there, but it's small town and still has that small town feel, even though it's a big rodeo.
And they do know rodeo to an extent, but I kind of take every rodeo the same, that I feel like there's probably, if there's one person in the stands that has never seen a rodeo before, then I want them to know everything about rodeo. And I want them to know why I love rodeo so much. And I kind of say this in my clinic because I had a judge tell me this one time. He wrote up and he said, "I believe if I was a blind man, I could have watched that rodeo." He said, "Because you explained everything that happened." And that's something that I've taken to every rodeo that I do, whether it's Denver, whether it's Elko, Nevada, whether it's Mobridge, South Dakota, whether it's the Rough Rider Cup, whatever it is, Salt Lake City, and realize that there are people there that have never seen what we do before. And they might not understand it. So it's my job to explain to them. Even the seasoned rodeo fan sometimes needs to remember how things go. And yeah, sometimes it gets monotonous to a guy that's watched team roping for the last 50 years of his life. But if somebody just happened to be driving down Route 66 and saw a sign, that's the person that we need to make fans of. Those are the people that we need to have be lifelong rodeo fans. So the answer is yes and no, and it's kind of complicated, Ty. I don't know that there's a great answer to that, but you treat every rodeo the same, and then you treat them a little bit different because of where you are.
David, I'm going to ask a really quick question. now because you've got something really special going on this year. Speaking of the community that truly comes together, a special benefit auction for Jesse Stipes from Locust Grove, Oklahoma. Tell us about what you guys are doing for the special young man.
Well, we've got some auction items that we're going to be auctioning off and raising money for Jesse. And Locust Grove is only about 25, 30 miles over here from us. He's came to our rodeo for many, many years. Brody Popino kind of called and was talking with Marshall Perkins, our co-chairman here, and my right-hand man. And, they called me and wanted to know what we could do. And I said, man, we can do anything y'all want to do. And that's just one of the things that our steer roping and rodeo family, how we all just come together for things like that. And quite honored to be able to do it.
Well, David, I know you're busy this time of the year. In fact, you stay busy all year long with part of the executive council on that board at the PRCA, and you have been for some time. Scott, you're busy as well, getting ready to kick off all the rodeo action. I know y'all get underway with a lot of slack competition tomorrow. I believe the first performance is on Friday night, if I'm not mistaken there. But you guys are getting ready. Scott, thank you. David, thank you for joining us here on Western Sports Roundup to tell us all about Claremore, Oklahoma, and the Will Rogers Stampede.
Thanks, guys. Good job.
Thank you, Ty. Thank you, Elise.
Thanks to both of you guys, folks. And I'm telling you, if you're anywhere near Claremore this weekend, please go check it out, the Will Rogers Stampede. Of course, you can watch it on Cowboy Channel as well. Stay with us. We've got more to get to on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
It's time for our top 3 stories of the day, presented by Veterson Clean Treat Heal. We had a chance to catch up with Rylee George, talking about that premier women's rodeo breakaway title on her new horse Copper, and $62,000 later. Cowtown Coliseum might as well be the house that Rylee built.
We also got to catch up with Eldon Flinn and Flinn Cattle Company. They own Ransom, the PBR Bucking Bull of the Year. Not only Bull of the Year, bull of the PBR finals as well. It was fun to get to kind of hear the behind the scenes of that great bull and how it all came about. And we took you to Will Rogers Stampede. That's Claremore, Oklahoma. They'll be celebrating their 80th year when they get underway this weekend, so you won't want to miss that. Let me tell you something, the Will Rogers Stampede, a lot of history comes with that great rodeo.
Speaking of big things coming this weekend, our rodeo radar, we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming your way on Cowboy Plus. Plenty of rodeos all across the country.
Oh, there definitely is. As always, the Cowboy Plus app is plenty busy, and you can follow right along with all the rodeos that are taking place, not only Claremore, Oklahoma, and the Will Rogers Stampede. I mean, you've got great rodeos like the Ag Expo Rodeo up in Watford City, North Dakota, the Colorado Stampede. That takes place in Grand Junction, Colorado, so lots for you to be a part of on our Cowboy Plus. That's going to wrap it up for Western Sports Roundup. For Elise, I'm Ty. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody.